So that's recording?
Waiting for a cat to go.
Awesome, okay. Thanks, Lani. Hey guys, Robbie here from lifeofmomentum.com, coming to you from my house in Wynnum West. And I want to talk to you today about the topic of social hierarchy or perceived hierarchy, and how that can limit your social skills, limit your charisma, limit your ability to relate to other people. Okay, so what is social hierarchy? So, you know, back when we were in 150 people tribes, we couldn't step outside of our hierarchy, we couldn't step outside of our status. We were confined to this little box, and if we stepped outside, something incredibly bad would happen. Things like getting banished from the tribe, i.e. being starved to death because you can't rely on the other people for support. Things like getting killed. So if you stepped outside your authority, people would just kill you, you know, because they think that you're in this little box, and if you step outside that, that's disrespectful to the tribe. So what happened to us when we evolved as a group? We evolved this thing called social pressure. And what that is it's a feeling inside your mind that stops you from saying stupid shit whenever you're in a social situation. And, you know, this is something that I've struggled with for a long time, about 4 years, and I have a very good grasp on how it feels, how social pressure feels, and how to break out of that. I'm still getting better every day, but I'm pretty sure that I have a very good grasp on what makes that part of your brain tick. Okay, so doing simple things like this, talking in front of the camera, is a very good way to step outside of that social pressure. And things like public speaking, it trains your mind to be able to free flow, free associate, and speak your mind in those high pressure environments, high pressure situations. So when you go up to a stranger and you say, "Hey, my name's Robbie," then it's not such of a big deal, because you've just stood up there in front of 20, 30 people and spilled your guts and was really vulnerable. So the way to get outside of that box that social pressure puts you in, is just to numb yourself to it. Just do these things daily. And then, you know, when you go and do that scary public talk or speech, when you give your presentation at school, it's not such of a big deal. And this is something that I've struggled with for a long time, and one of the epiphanies I've had recently, and the reason why I've started these videos, is the realization that you can get better at this stuff. So I was never a good communicator. I could never do this in front of a camera. And the reason was I didn't realize, I didn't understand that anything you put your heart and soul in, anything that you do consistently over time, you'll get better at that. And something that I've made a focus to get better at is being able to communicate freely, you know, without that social pressure putting me back into that little box. And I hope after a year of doing these videos that my public speaking, my communication style will be on point to the point where I don't have to think about what I say. It just comes all out, okay? So this is something that I encourage you to do if this path resonates with you. If, you know, public speaking, being socially gregarious, being confident, is something that resonates with you and something you want to get handled, an area of life you want to get handled, then I encourage you to take my approach and just take massive fucking action. You know, I attended a workshop this weekend, and so that's something we discussed, is massive fucking action. MFA, it's a term that my friend coined, and it's something that can help you shut off that logical thinking mind in social situations if you just take massive fucking action. And what do I mean by MFA? MFA is, you know, talking to a lot of people, talking to everyone that you can see, and not making excuses when you don't feel it, you don't feel comfortable talking to somebody else, you feel the discomfort and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's a good book. So social discomfort is something that you can ignore and get better at ignoring over time. And what I've found is your personality, your charisma, your ability to say things in a witty way and be relatable is a bit like a tap. And that tap gets either shut off or turned on. Think of it like a kink in a hose, right? And that kink in the hose is that social pressure that you feel in social situations. You know, that judgment that you preemptively feel from somebody before it even happens. You know, oftentimes when we say something that we think is going to get a negative reaction, people just don't care. They're not going to give you the same reaction as you think, okay? So that's why I've made it a focus of mine for the past 4 years to get this area of my life handled and not worry about what other people think. You know, not giving a fuck is a muscle that you can train. That was the biggest paradigm shift that I've had, is realizing that there are different neural networks, neural pathways in your mind that code for different feelings. And social pressure, you're always going to feel it. You're never going to feel, unless you're like, you know, somebody with mental problems, then you're always going to feel anxiety by talking to someone new, public speaking, or being vulnerable about your innermost thoughts. But what I've found is the more you do it, it's like a muscle. It can be trained. And just like I can come up here, talk on video, and just spill my soul, spill my heart and soul, and just talk about whatever's on my mind right now and communicate effectively, it's not something that comes straight away to me. It's something that I've been training in my mind. I've been purposefully stepping outside my comfort zone for 4 years now, maybe even longer. And it's something that, you know, I've gotten better at. And this year, I've only just started to notice that those past 3 years of effort of putting myself out there and speaking my mind in high pressure environments is starting to pay off. Like you notice it. If you knew me back then, you know me now, you notice it. It's a change in how I carry myself, how I speak, and whether or not I care about your opinion. You know, it's not in some narcissistic way like I don't care about your opinion. It's just that I don't value your opinion more than my own. You know, I have a good quote: respect other opinions, but follow your own. And that's something I've really tried to instill in my own head. And when you do that, other people follow you. You know, why is Tony Robbins such a captivating speaker? You know, why is Donald Trump, probably more relevant example, why is Donald Trump such a captivating, engaging speaker? It's because he has certainty in what he's saying. It's because he has that weight behind what he says. You know, he can galvanize a crowd because of the certainty behind his words, because he actually believes in what he's saying, right? This is something that I wish for you to develop in your life, because it can take you places that you only dreamed of. And if you can learn, it has applications in sales, all kinds of things, sales, socializing, making friends, your dating life, all kinds of things. Because when you're sure in what you say, other people will follow you. A great leader is sure in what he says. Why did Adolf Hitler, how could he, this is a bad example, but how was he able to galvanize a country and lead them into committing genocide? It's a terrible example, but he was sure in what he said, okay? He was absolutely dead set, 100% certain that this was the right path to take. And, you know, that's something that I want you to figure out how to do. It's a muscle, it can be trained, and just numb yourself to it. MFA, guys. Massive fucking action. So thank you for listening to me. You'll notice me getting more certain in what I say every single video. And I really appreciate you listening to me. I love teaching this stuff. It's been my life for the last 4 years, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.